Hey everyone, Sean Rosensteel here. Welcome back to the Think and Grow Rich video series. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Chapter 4, Autosuggestion. Before we do a little housekeeping here, in the last video we talked about Chapter 3, Faith. And one of the key ideas in that chapter was our greatest weakness. And if you remember, Napoleon stresses that one of our greatest weaknesses, if we take some time for self-evaluation, we might discover that it's a lack of self-confidence. Well, in Chapter 3 on faith, there's what's called a self-confidence formula. So I have extracted that formula directly out of the book, verbatim, and put it into the success guide. And I've actually made it into a contract that you can make with yourself. So if you're lacking at all in that self-confidence category, be sure to check that out. The success guide is available for download in PDF format below. All right, so let's get moving here. Chapter 4, Autosuggestion. What a neat chapter this is, and what an incredible idea this is as well. So the first key point I'd like to discuss is outer guard. I'm on page 58 here. Napoleon says that all sense impressions which are perceived through the five senses are stopped by the conscious thinking mind and may be either passed on to the subconscious mind or rejected at will. The conscious faculty serves, therefore, as an outer guard to the approach of the subconscious. Nature has built man that he has absolute control over the material which reaches his subconscious mind through his five senses, although this is not meant to be construed as a statement that man always exercises this control. So I think that's such a powerful idea here. This idea that we as human beings are the only beings on the planet which have we have this ability to exercise this outer guard and to use our conscious thinking mind to protect the subconscious mind. So it's a choice that we have as far as using our own five senses to determine what is let in to our subconscious and what we simply reject. And, we don't see animals running around. We don't see a squirrel, questioning the squirrel's purpose, right? We don't see a bear out there in nature not really sure, what's going on or questioning his or her purpose in life. So we as human beings have this unique gift, this outer guard, and we need to make sure that we're using that tool or that function appropriately. So powerful concept there. The second idea is reading is of no consequence. I'm on page 59 now. He says that when reading aloud the statement of your desire through which you are endeavoring to develop a money consciousness, that the mere reading of the words is of no consequence unless you mix emotion or feeling with your words. Your subconscious mind recognizes and acts upon only thoughts which have been well mixed with emotion or feeling. Lack of understanding of this is the main reason the majority of people who try to apply the principle of autosuggestion get no desirable results. So in Chapter 2, Desire, there was that 6-step formula for getting whatever it is that you want, right? Very simple. That's in the success guide. You can journal out your answers. If you're following his instruction, hopefully you're reading that in the morning and you're reading that in the evening just before you go to bed. You have to find a way here to read through that and commit it to memory and visualize that and repeat it with emotion. You have to tie emotion to it in some way, shape, or form. Tony Robbins, for example, is out there doing this rah-rah stuff, and a lot of people look at that and they're turned off by it. But why is he doing that? He's doing that with emotion because he knows that if he fires up certain emotions, whether it's love or faith or joy or compassion or gratitude or whatever it is, he knows that some of these desires or some of this visualization will make it into his subconscious mind. That's this principle of autosuggestion. So as you work your way through the 13 principles, remember that just reading it alone is of absolutely no consequence if you're not mixing in those powerful emotions when you're applying this principle. Third idea here is price equals persistence. I'm on page 59 again. Napoleon says that ability to reach and influence your subconscious mind has its price, and you must pay that price. The price of ability to influence your subconscious mind is everlasting persistence in applying the principle described here. You and you alone must decide whether or not the reward for which you are striving, the money consciousness, is worth the price you must pay for it in effort. So we talked about that in the last video, this money consciousness. It's that, saturation of your thoughts with whatever it is that you desire. Doesn't have to be financial riches necessarily. It could be happiness consciousness, right? It could be loving consciousness. It could be peace of mind consciousness. It doesn't matter. But you have to be willing to pay a price. And he's suggesting that the price is everlasting persistence. You have to never give up when you're applying the principle of autosuggestion. And I would say that, like anything else in this life, with practice comes perfection. Oftentimes when we practice certain new habits or disciplines, they become permanent over time. So remember that you must apply this principle with autosuggestion with absolute persistence. Fourth key idea here is concentration. I'm on page 60 now. He says your ability to use the principle of autosuggestion will depend very largely upon your capacity to concentrate upon a given desire until that desire becomes a burning obsession. When you begin to carry out the first of the 6 steps, which instructs you to fix in your own mind the exact amount of money you desire, hold your thoughts on that amount of money by concentration or fixation of attention, with your eyes closed until you can actually see the physical appearance of the money. Do this at least once each day. As you go through these exercises, follow the instructions given in the chapter on faith and see yourself actually in possession of the money. So your ability to concentrate when you're reading through the instructions to get what you want, right? In chapter 2, desire, when you're reading through those instructions, you have to focus. You have to have that ability to concentrate. And what he's suggesting here is to actually concentrate on seeing the physical manifestation of whatever your desires might be. You have to be able to concentrate that and hold that image in your mind. Fifth key point here, immediate action. I'm on page 60 again here, towards the bottom. He says, do not wait for a definite plan through which you intend to exchange services or merchandise in return for the money that you are visualizing, but begin at once to see yourself in possession of the money, demanding and expecting, meanwhile, that your subconscious mind will hand over the plan or plans you need. Be on the alert for these plans, and when they appear, put them into action immediately. When the plans appear, they will probably flash into your mind through the 6th sense in the form of an inspiration. This inspiration may be considered a direct telegram or message from infinite intelligence. Treat it with respect and act upon it as soon as you receive it. Failure to do so will be fatal to your success. So, pretty important there. I know from personal experience that, I'll have these ideas that flash in my own mind. I'll be in the shower, or I'll just be out walking, and all of a sudden I'll get hit like a lightning bolt with some idea. And I've been in the habit of the past few years of putting those ideas into play, even if it's something as simple as, oh my gosh, I need to follow up with some person, or I need to thank this person for something. Oftentimes these aren't groundbreaking flashes, but you do have a flash of simple things from time to time, don't you? So when those happen, put them into action immediately. Get right to it. So when you do have a flash of a plan or whatever it is, it's a definite plan or just a simple idea, make sure you act immediately on those. There's so much going on in our brains with 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. If we don't act immediately on those plans, they'll get shelved. they'll forget, or they'll collect dust, right? We'll look them over and forget about them. And oftentimes we miss out on some major opportunities. So take Napoleon's guidance here and put these plans or put an idea into immediate action as soon as possible. Next idea here is Keystone. I'm on page 63. He says, you are now reading the chapter which represents the keystone to the arch of this philosophy. The instructions contained in this chapter must be understood and applied with persistence if you succeed in transmuting your desire into money. So this principle of autosuggestion, it's so simple, but it's also so critical. It's the keystone to the entire philosophy, as Napoleon suggests. And we're doing this anyway. You know, we're having thoughts anyway, aren't we? So we need to make sure that we begin to, guard the thoughts from our, subconscious mind, to be more conscious about the fact that we can become the outer guard there. But we also need to be more aware and more conscious and more proactive about applying this principle of autosuggestion. It's the keystone. This will make or break your entire experience here. So if we're going to be thinking thoughts anyway, unless we're in a meditation or we're purposely trying to clear our minds, we're going to be thinking anyway. And one thought's going to lead to the next anyway, right? So why not be proactive about this? Why not put just a little bit more effort into this and appreciate this principle of autosuggestion as the keystone to the entire book, right? It's so critical. The last key point here is, I love this, faith of a child. I'm on page 63 again. Napoleon says, carry out these instructions as though you were a small child. Inject into your efforts something of the faith of a child. And I think it's fairly common knowledge at this point, but that, between the ages of let's say 0 and 6 or 0 and 7, children's brains are like sponges. They take everything as truth. And it's a very critical time in self-development, because what they listen to, what they see, what they feel, it really makes an impression on their subconscious minds. It's like their conscious mind hasn't necessarily developed just yet, and everything that's coming in through their 5 senses, it is getting buried right into the subconscious mind. And sometimes certain experiences that they have don't necessarily come out to be developed, so to speak, or they don't come out into play until later on in life. That's oftentimes what therapy is there to uncover, right? So I love this idea. When I read through this chapter on autosuggestion many years ago, I was very skeptical. I didn't necessarily understand it. I didn't want to put forth the effort. It sounded great, but I didn't put forth the effort. I'll tell you what, I eventually did adopt the faith of a child, and I eventually did just completely eliminate the skepticism I once had, and I opened up to all of these ideas in this chapter, and I started to, take this at its word, and I did write out the 6 steps. I actually journaled those, and I did read those in the morning, and I did read those in the evening, and I did think about that prior to going to sleep at night, and I did use emotions to the best of my ability when I read through those, because I knew that if I didn't, all of my efforts would be in vain, right? So take this chapter, and frankly, every chapter, all of the 13 principles in this book, do your best to have an open mind in the faith of a child. I think that's such a powerful, powerful idea. So that does it for what I believe are the key ideas in Chapter 4, Autosuggestion. In the next video, we're going to be covering Chapter 5, which is Specialized Knowledge. In the meantime, if you liked what you saw here and you learned here today, feel free to like this video, share it with your friends, and also be sure to subscribe to this channel so that as I release additional videos over the next few weeks, you will not miss out. All right, I look forward to seeing you and serving you in the next video. Take care.